This video is sponsored by Skillshare.
It's true. I'm moving on.
Forever's never gone so fast.
How's it going, guys? Will here, and yeah, I am moving on from my iPhone 10. First off, let me explain why I'm actually making this video. I mean, realistically, it's literally just a phone. I've tried tons of different phones while I've been on this channel, and I've never made a moving on video like this. Well, I've been using an iPhone 10, specifically this iPhone 10, since I had about 10,000 subscribers. And at this point, I have 33.5 thousand subscribers. So yeah, this thing has been with me through some serious channel growth. I've made tons of videos on this thing, I've made tons of videos with this thing, and I think this is my first proper modern iPhone purchase, if you could call it that. You see, before this phone, I'd only actually used two iPhones. I'd used the iPhone 7, which I'd bought used that year in May, and I'd used the iPhone 5, which I think I got, yeah, that was the problem phone, by the way, the one I mentioned in the last video. But this was my first notched iPhone, this was my first iPhone with dual cameras, my first iPhone with a glass back, and one that helped me make a lot of videos, including a good majority of my favorites. But all good things must come to an end, and there were a few factors which made me decide that now might be the time to upgrade. So let's talk about that. So the first reason I did decide to move on and finally look for something else was the battery. Now, I've mentioned this before, but recently my iPhone 10 battery hasn't been what it once was. Up until quite recently, it could quite comfortably see me through the day, but recently that really hasn't been the case. So why is this? Well, I actually just did a video on that up there, I think. But essentially, over time, phone batteries do physically wear out. Now, this is usually represented by battery health, and mine is currently at, yeah, my maximum capacity is at 84%. Okay, so why don't I just replace the phone battery? It would definitely be cheaper than replacing the whole phone, but that's not the only reason I'm moving on. If that was the only reason I had to move on, I would just replace the battery. But no, there's a little bit more to it than that. So the next reason I'm moving on is simply because I want to try out some of the new features. After trying both the iPhone 11 and of course the SE, I have wanted to try out some of the new camera features. Namely, I do want a little bit more dynamic range out of my camera. That is something that I have noticed with the iPhone 10. It just doesn't have as much as the later generations. Something else I want to try out is that new aperture slider on the portrait mode. I want to use that in my personal workflow. And so yeah, by no means do I need it, but I do fancy a camera upgrade. That would be nice. Some of the things I'm not too fussed about trying though are night mode, and I don't need 3 cameras. I'm just going to say it here, I'm not upgrading to the iPhone 11 Pro. That is very much overkill for me. Now, there are people who would make really good use of that phone, namely people who do photography as like a serious hobby. So they don't have a camera like this, but they would benefit from having a really good camera system. Me, as I said, I have this, so I don't really need those advanced camera features, but still, some more sharpness, some more dynamic range, and of course the aperture slider in the portrait mode would be nice upgrades. And the final reason I have for upgrading is because I don't want to stay stagnant on one device. Because of what I do on YouTube, I want to not only be trying out the new features, but I want to be living with them. Somebody actually asked me the other day, when I make my phone reviews, do I simply just test the phone, or do I use it as a day-to-day device? And the answer is, I turn it into my everyday phone. I put my actual SIM card in, install the apps I use every day, and use it as if it's the only phone I have. And I personally think that this helps me get a brand new perspective on the phone. When you use a phone as your phone, you find things out that you wouldn't find if I were to just simply test it. And while I would find new things, such as performance margins, if I were to go to like stress test this thing or benchmark it, but realistically, that doesn't reflect the most important part of a phone, the user experience. And because of this, before I go to test a new phone, I want to already be living those features. That way, I do think I'll get a more balanced view of the newer features and realize which features are standard and which features are truly special. And I think because I'm using a 2.5-year-old phone, I am missing out on a lot of the new features, so I want to fix that. Such a nice evening. Let me know, by the way, if you're liking these more outside informal videos. The standard talking heads videos aren't going anywhere, but I am enjoying making more of these because it means I can make more videos and we get to appreciate really nice evenings like this one. So next up, we're going to be talking about some of the things that I want from the new phone. But first, I'm going to be telling you about today's sponsor, Skillshare. As I said before, this video is sponsored by Skillshare, which is an online learning platform with literally thousands of classes on topics like photography, film and video, animation, and productivity. I personally really enjoyed Thomas Frank's productivity masterclass. In fact, a lot of the elements from it were what inspired my personal productivity system. In this online class, he talks all about how to set up your own system that works for you and things that I found especially useful, such as how to set up and manage a to-do list and a calendar, which I really needed some help with. It also covers other topics such such as note-taking, file organization, and email management. So there's a wide range of topics to help create a full productivity system. Because Skillshare is specifically for learning, there's no ads, and they regularly release new premium classes, so there's plenty to choose from. So if you are interested in this or anything else I've mentioned, then feel free to check out Skillshare. In fact, the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium, and then after that, it works out to $8.25 per month with the annual subscription, or $15 per month with the monthly subscription. Once again, thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna get up now because I'm getting cramp and I think the floor is quite wet here. Back to the video. So as I said earlier, the main thing that I want is for it to be a more modern smartphone experience. While I don't necessarily think the iPhone 10 is an old phone, it is lacking a fair few modern day phone standards. I also, as I said before, want some better battery life. I want it to at least last me through the day and hopefully have some charge left over. In terms of specs, I'm not really bothered. As long as the user experience is modern, I couldn't care less. Now, operating system, iOS or Android. Now, I did carefully consider switching to OnePlus, but after the year I've had an iPhone and the frankly great experience I've had, I think for now at least I am going to be sticking with iPhone. Well, what about screen size? Honestly, I fancy something like this. I know I did really enjoy the iPhone XR, but honestly, after going back to the iPhone 10, the screen size was really nice. So yeah, that's what I want from my new phone, which kind of narrows it down. I was either considering the iPhone XS or the iPhone 11, and while I did very much enjoy the iPhone 11 when I used it, I think the screen and the telephoto camera, that just pretty much made up my decision. So yeah, my new phone I'm switching to is going to be the iPhone XS. So yeah, I have had some honestly fantastic times with the iPhone 10, but I'm looking forward to having even more with the iPhone XS. Alright guys, so that's it for today. As always, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video if you want to see more content like this, and smash that subscribe button. I'm done for now, and I will see you guys in the next one.